Yes, it indeed is that time. It's time for Three Guys Before the Game. Welcome in, everyone. This is episode number 632. Great to be back with you. We've taken a week off. We're jumping back in. Title, portal opens, NIL cranking, rosters reloading. We're going to get into all of that. Hoppy has gone to the NIL Institute of Higher Learning to get a better breakdown of what it all means, and he will have a report for the class coming up. Three guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They will not take no for an answer. They just won't take no. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years, and now keeping it hydrated. By GoMart. Get yourself a GoMart rewards card. Go to GoMart.com for details. Month of April at GoMart is fun because the flowers are blossoming. You need more gas. You need more, a little bit of everything. Talk about that. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Award-winning Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Best in the Valley, best, I think, in the world. I think they won. Did they win that one, best in the world?
I think it was, they were nominated.
Yeah. Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. It's also how Three Guys starts its day. And by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers.
They just had their world championship.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, yeah. This was a big week for them. April 15th has come and gone. All the other CPAs, they get all nervous, they get all jumpy, they get all, ugh. Guys at Conley go like, sup?
Bring it.
Sup?
Bring it.
I got your 1099 right here. I got your W-2.
Now let's work on your quarterly taxes.
I got your K-1 right here.
What's a K1?
I was told they knocked down some shots here this week.
Yeah, they did. They lined up, just made shots.
Made shots.
Mike over there at Conley just makes shots.
Mike said, give me the ball.
Yeah. We should call Mike and just ask him, like, did anyone run in on the 14th of April and go, like, here's my stuff?
Well, yes.
They do that?
Sure.
Here's what happens, too, is that folks run in and go, I need an extension. And the answer is, we can give you an extension, but it's just an extension to file.
Not to pay.
Not to pay.
You need your money now. Yeah.
Because the federal government says, where's my money, man? Make me look like a fool.
I read a thing, I don't know where it was. They said with all these job cuts and everything in the federal government, they say your chances of getting audited now, like, it's been pretty much decreased. Like, it's an open highway.
You want to roll the dice on that?
Do you think now the way this show is opened, we will skyrocket to number one on accounting podcasts for the month?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Probably goes number one on accounting podcast.
Probably.
Yeah.
We should probably tag that as one of our keywords.
Sure.
Coming up on our program, we will go back to front. We'll go Textual Healing. We've got some pretty good stuff. We had a package sent to us from a listener.
Multiple packages.
Two extremely large, two extremely heavy packages. We'll show you what was inside the boxes coming up later on in the program.
Really heavy. Like, Hoppy, when I carried him down, I had to put like one of those belts on that movers used to carry it down. Two.
Really?
How do movers wear them things? You ever see like they have this like one belt and the guy picks up 3 refrigerators and a piano at the same time.
I know. Well, it worked. I got those 2 packages down there with one of those things.
I saw that the other day.
Didn't need a forklift or a dolly.
You know how we referred to Chuck a lot on this program?
Your neighbor.
Chuck got a new fridge.
Oh boy.
Hauled out 2 guys hauled out the old fridge. Just one of those belts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the belts
Pretty
are
remarkable.
We probably should.
Now they were hurting, but
does he still have that inflatable in his garage, or am I just going to have to call Lou Wendell?
I'm not telling you about the inflatable. You dissed on the
I'll just get the new one from Lou Wendell.
So the last time,
all due respect to Chuck.
The last time, you think Chuck would like to come on someday, or can we get a picture of Chuck that we could put up there so when we talk about Chuck, we let people at least see him?
I'll get you a picture.
Okay. So, by the way, just podcast related, real quick.
Well, we're off to a rousing start here on the
show.
show.
I've been doing a little research. So I went to NAB, which is National Association of Broadcasters, in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, just for a couple of 3 days. and had not been there in over 20 years.
Wow.
And one of the things I thought was really interesting was equipment. And what it is, there's 1,100 exhibitors. There's 50. Well, there's in the past there'd be 100,000 people there.
Yeah.
It's not as big because of COVID, but there's 100.
It's still big deal.
120 countries are represented. There was like 70,000 people. Enough.
Yeah.
There's enough. There was enough people. Anyway, the podcasting is evolving, as you all know. It started straight audio. We've always done this video-wise as well. But what I thought was interesting is that the way people are consuming now, to them, they're indifferent as to how they consume it.
Meaning listening or watching?
And they do both.
Yeah.
85%, if I have this right, 85% of people use both ways. So, like, if they're doing something that they can't use their eyes, like say they're driving or they're doing something where they can't look, then they'll just listen. But like if they sit down at their desk, then and they have it on off the side and they hear us talking about like Coach Hunter and a Slim Jim that's like, look at this picture, and we're laughing like heck.
When the steering wheel was down at his ankles?
When the steering wheel looked like a donut, and Coach Hunter's head was this big. So people then go to that. So the point is that this thing is evolving to the point where people are now consuming this both ways, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I think that's true of a lot of our listeners. They can text us and tell us that. But as we've been talking to people here recently, and you ask them, do you listen or watch? Well, both, depending.
Yeah. Right.
I can see that. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. And so now the portal has reopened. It opened up on Wednesday, April the 16th. But unlike past years, when the portal would open and you'd run around going, oh my goodness, oh my gracious, did you see this guy jump, this person jumped, this person's in, it was like this total stun factor. In football, that did not happen here, and probably didn't happen most places in the country because it was already communicated and set, right? West Virginia has made cuts, and those players either didn't have the option to go into the portal, they were already released, or it was negotiated or discussed, hey, you're good, are you in, you're out, let's go. And so it was like, it was a non-story, at least here, for at least the first day. It's Thursday right now. At least for the first day, it was not as big as it used to be.
Okay.
Which is significant. A little bit of a, so what I'm saying is that also is incrementally evolving.
Yes. Where
we're probably going to get out of these stunning moments of, hey, Hoppy Kercheval is in the transfer portal or whatever. Okay. We'll talk about that. Also, Hoppy has a little bit more on rev share and NIL. They'll present to the class and do a nice job for us, a nice report. Senator, we are up to 6 names now on the new WVU basketball team. Guess we could call this the 25-26 edition of the Mountaineer basketball team.
Yeah, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but I do think all 6 guys are going to be really high-impact players for this team. So you can see how the rosters are coming together where you're after your rotation guys first and foremost, then you'll start to fill the back end of that. And I think that's also how you're kind of doing your dollars too, right? You want to allocate to the guys that are going to play the most and then backfill with what you have to. So they've added what I think is a really significant piece to this group in a point guard, and so we'll dive into some of his numbers coming up.
Fair to say that the 6 names that we have right now probably will represent at least 75% of the minutes played next season?
I think it's a high number of minutes being played. Yeah, DJ Thomas is the one question mark, the high school recruit that is signed that was originally committed to North Texas. That's just a matter of body-wise, he looks pretty ready. It's just a matter of adjusting up to the college game. How will he look? But I think he gets minutes. It's just a matter of, is that 12 minutes a game? Is it 25 minutes a game? But yeah, I think the guys that are on board now, you're going to see playing big roles on this team this year.
All right, let's jump into Hoppy's report now. He's been a good student for us here during the semester, and he took a field trip, and he spent some time with someone that is in the major know of how this thing at least is shaping up. Again, it's like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
You can shake it at any moment, and it will change. But as of the moment, Hoppy, what would you like to report to us?
Well, more than the Etch-a-Sketch, it's more like Jell-O or something, or clay, trying to figure out what it is, and everybody's trying to do it. And we're talking about NIL. because as I've said before, I'm fascinated by the money part of this, which is still evolving. And we've talked a lot about rev share, but NIL is, I think, still going to, well, I know is going to be a significant part of the revenue for athletes. The question is, Brad, how do you do it? You can do it internally, and WVU, by the way, hasn't decided yet whether they do it internally or get a partner. But most schools are going with a partner. Most schools are going with ad agencies or startups that are specializing in this very opportunity. For example, and I was pointed toward Kansas. Kansas uses a firm, Waltz Tetrick. Waltz Tetrick is the advertising agency, which is one of the bigger advertising agencies in the Midwest. They've already put together, it's called Flight, and they manage and navigate the brands for the Kansas athletes. And a lot of schools are doing this. There's maybe 10 or 12 major agencies out there that are looking for this business with schools. What I came across too, because I'm guilty of old school thinking, like, okay, I guess you get the most prominent football or basketball player to do an ad for a car dealer. That's really outdated thinking, because most of the opportunities are going to be in social media. And those opportunities are going to be not just with the biggest names that you're familiar with from traditional sports coverage, but with individuals who can put together a significant social media platform. Who's the best example?
Livy Dunn.
Livy Dunn, right, the LSU gymnast. And I was looking at one of these ad agencies. Now think about this. And if you go on their website, they say, here are the athletes we represent. And what would you like? Would you like them to appear? Would you like an autograph session? Would you like them to appear in a commercial? Would you like them to give you a shout out? Would you like them to give somebody birthday wishes? You can contract. What was the name of the one of them?
How much are we paying Livy Dunn to say happy birthday?
Well, it depends.
It depends. Some random person in Indianapolis will decide how much that is, not the market. But go ahead.
So you can get.
You're relentless.
You can, yes. You can get somebody one of these athletes to give you birthday wishes, a video birthday wish for $10. Or if it's Cam Scattaboo, it's $70. Okay. So those are opportunities I had not previously thought about, but it's just different ways that ad agencies who specialize in this, Brad, are looking for ways.
Why are you smiling at him like that? Why are you smiling at him like that?
Go ahead.
What, are you laying for me?
No, go ahead.
You laughing at him?
No, I'm not laughing at him. I think he's done some nice research.
Okay. Now, so it seems like the best way to do this, and it's up to WVU, would to be partner with an ad agency, with one of these entities that's going to specialize in trying to match athletes with products and services, okay? And you might think, well, you just got to go to the biggest names. I found one where there is a market price, P-R-Y-C, market price, listed as one of their top 10, Brianna Brown. You don't know who Brianna Brown is. I don't either. She's a UT Arlington volleyball player, but they signed her with a company that does facial cream.
Sure.
And they put together a piece like after the game, when I go to bed at night, I do this facial cream. So creating not just filling in traditional opportunities, but creating new opportunities that weren't previously there. They're also these ad agencies are looking at even younger athletes. Here's Alderson Broadus, recently named.
Alderson Broadus here?
I'm sorry. Why did I say Alderson Broadus? Get ahead of myself.
Aren't they closed?
They are. Why did I say Alderson Broadus? Senior moment. Adidas recently named a star baseball player as their newest endorser.
Right.
He is Ethan Holiday. You know who Ethan Holiday is?
Probably one of the Holiday boys from out of Oklahoma State. Probably.
He plays high school baseball in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah, sure. That's
one of the very famous baseball family. Yeah. Thank you.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah.
17. But he's one of the hottest recruits in the country.
Sure.
And they just signed him. That's one of their biggest signees. Now, I know what Brad's going to say, because these signees are supposed to get paid fair market value for what they do.
Right.
And that's where Brad's ears peak up. How do you determine fair market value? Well, they're working on that. The NCAA is working on that. The institution is working on that. And the fair market value is supposed to be for example, if you're going to have a football player, a star football player who's going to do social media for a particular product, it should not be any more than someone who's not a football player would get for that same amount of content. But
outrageous statement you just made.
It's
absolutely outrageous statement.
Let me finish, and then you can go.
Be nice, Brad.
So it's supposed to be, so obviously it is very subjective. But Brad, you got me interested because, as you said, this is going to be ripe for a legal challenge. And already, though people are lining up to make challenges to this, saying, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean fair market value? How can an entity determine a fair market value for everybody out there? How can you have this standard? And they refer back, if this is fought in court, they will go to the Alston case. Why did they go to the Alston case? Because in the Alston case, which was more about, in the Alston case, Justice Kavanaugh had a concurring opinion where he said, nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate. The NCAA is not above the law. So, Brad, that reinforces your argument that this immediately will be subject to some antitrust litigation saying, what do you mean you came up with a formula?
Immediate. What was that line you just said?
What I read from
someone that doesn't play football should get the same rate as the football player?
That is one of the theories being talked about in trying to determine a value that is for use and not just pay for play.
So Joe student walking around campus, if they were gonna endorse the facial cream, should get the same rate as someone with a major platform with millions of followers? If that's what we're going to say?
No. If Joe on campus had 100,000 followers for whatever reason, and the football player had 100,000 followers, then it should be comparable. So it would be based on not just Joe Schmo.
That's a good attempt at an argument. That's a good attempt at an argument. Also hogwash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Challengeable all day long.
I agree with you.
So
artificially limiting market value. If someone wants to overpay for something in the marketplace, that happens every day.
So summarize a couple points.
He's concluding his report.
Yeah, concluding my report. Thank you. Is that WVU still needs to decide, is it going to try to do this in-house or partner with an agency?
Right.
The second part is that there will be tremendous opportunities, I think, for athletes at all levels to use social media to market themselves and affiliate with a particular product. And probably you're better off with an agency that specializes in doing that can line that up. And the third thing is, as Brad said, that this is going to be that the House settlement is not the end of it. It's a big step, but there will likely be a challenge to this whole fair market value idea.
Very nice, Hoppy.
Thank you.
And this in Congress, and talking with some folks, they think it could be as early as next month where there will be a law passed to give college sports some form of antitrust
exemption. Well, then,
as early as May.
If that happens, then maybe it does fly. If they have an exemption to antitrust.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you have on all this?
Well, I would just say this, and this is there's not a lot of new things in sports, especially, and this is just really a remake. I've talked about this many times. But we went through this back in the day with coaches, and eventually bringing coaches' rights in-house, paying them up front, and then selling their rights institutionally. So we've been down this path. We've also been down this path of NIL, of everybody freaking out about this and all the car dealers that are going to give deals and all the companies. And we saw this the first round in the original. There's very few of those marketable athletes. So are there opportunities? Yes. Are there more on social media than there are in the general traditional media?
Yes.
Absolutely there is, yes. But there's also not thousands of deals out there, thousands of companies waiting to get involved in this. I think these will be smaller deals in smaller time frames, just like you see regular social media influencers. That's what this is,
it's about
going to become.
influencers.
We've seen the big brands try and jump in, and the most famous is Dr. Pepper trying to get on board with DJ Ungalela. When they got him on as a spokesperson, and then he absolutely was terrible, quite frankly, on field, and it crashed an entire national brand. there's very few college football players that can carry a national brand for a company. So these are all going to be, for the most part, in my opinion, some smaller deals or just the influencing side on specific products. I do think there's a chance for a few athletes to capitalize there, but I think the thought that there's going to be these hundreds of local deals for athletes and putting them on camera and such just aren't going to exist. Most of these college athletes, and we saw it, guys, we saw some really bad commercials when this first started, when schools were trying to figure it out before it just became pay for play. So I would just caution. We'll spend a lot of time on this platform. I think the deals will be less than what some pundits are out there saying will be available.
I agree with you, and again, it's sort of to be determined. Interestingly, that in my research, I found that what is becoming more popular in this field of influencers is younger people. I mean, it's not like they don't want people whose purchasing can be influenced are typically younger, and they're identifying with younger influencers who create an impression, who have more authenticity, okay, than older people. So it makes sense that you would have like a high school baseball player, a college gymnast or volleyball player can have a social media presence that resonates more in a one-on-one basis with followers.
But also, welcome to Advertising 101. What hasn't changed, there's some nuance to this. The younger influencers are speaking to the younger consumers.
Right.
What don't most younger consumers have, which is why the older demographic is still coveted?
Money.
You got to have money to purchase the product. So that's why some of this micro influencing, I think, has more of a shot. Smaller entry point to the dollars, not huge overall buys. That's why putting a college quarterback trying to sell a $90,000 vehicle may not be the right approach.
Right.
So that's why some of these micro deals have more of a chance than these big brands are doing.
And those micro deals might be things like, do you want a shout out from Tony Caridi? Do you want birthday wishes?
Correct. But that's where I say, do you know how many birthday wishes you have to send out to get to $100,000 in payment? A ton, more than the athlete will have time to do. So these big swings and misses where you give me $1 million and I do a couple commercials, those just aren't going to be there as much. Yeah. So again, I just think this is a lot of time and discussion on something that ultimately, when it goes in, is going to be a small piece of the pie. The bigger piece of the pie is still going to be the revenue share that comes from the department. That's where the real dollars are. The other stuff is fine to talk about, and we can play in that world a little bit, but that's not what's driving this. It's the revenue share that's driving it.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. If you're a regular here, you know that one of the things that we've wrapped our arms around and embrace is West Virginia businesses, and this is a great, great story as part of our Connection 304. Jan Dills began her law practice in Parkersburg. She's a Parkersburg native, and now that law firm has attorneys doing work in 48 states. I mention oftentimes about their military disability claims that they can help you with, Social Security disability claims as well, but also straight personal injury accidents, unfortunately, and you never, ever, ever want to have to deal with it. But if someone that you know has been involved in a personal injury situation and you want someone that you can feel good about in the state of West Virginia that will take your hand and guide you through what oftentimes is a long process, check out Jan Dills Attorneys at Law. They don't make a single penny unless you do, so you can at least inquire. Contact Jan Dills Attorneys at Law. Also here on Three Guys, very huge in hydration. Temperatures are warming, and as a result of that, you're in a business place. Keep your employees hydrated. Why do you want them walking around almost doggone comatose if they're not getting enough hydration? You don't need to carry plastic bottles in. Comex Business Systems has an incredible selection of water machines, you heard me right, both cold and hot, for the business that you work. Comex, check these out. I mean, hot water, cold water, how does it know? It's amazing.
Where are you sitting on your ounces per day? Do you track?
I don't.
Probably should.
You think I'm dehydrated?
I would guess you're dehydrated. I don't ever see you drink a lot of water.
No, we don't.
I would think
We
you're dehydrated.
don't. Well, these guys say this. They came into the show today flying on caffeine.
Oh yeah.
They're kicking heavy caffeine. I'm just saying this. If you're a business and you don't want to deal with all the plastic bottles and all that jug stuff anymore, get a great machine, install. Your folks have great filtered, perfect water. Check it out, COMAXWV.com.
So I'm saying take your big cup in. Take your big tumbler. You can get one at Tudor's, fill that up. Stanley's a popular brand. Owala, of course. Sure, you guys have heard of the Owala. You just take those in, just fill them right up in the water machine. You stay hydrated throughout the day.
Can I say one other thing about NIL?
Sure.
Is that maybe it's not going to be a gigantic deal, and I understand what you're saying, Brad. But I do think that if you look at some of what has happened so far and what can happen, that there will be opportunities here for individuals who are in Olympic sports, who in many schools are not going to get much in revenue sharing, to get some money based on their name, image, and likeness, and product, which is better than nothing. So there will be increased opportunity for them to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness.
I don't disagree. I think there's some great NIL opportunities that are not being fully explored right now. Like I could take a couple kids off this Mountaineer baseball team right now. I mean, you got some homegrown kids on this team, like Logan West, right? Having a great
Kyle West.
I'm sorry, Kyle West. Excuse me,
Logan Save.
Logan Save, Kyle West. Either of those two, either the catcher or Mr. West. But you could take those guys, and you could still there's businesses out there that could benefit off of them right now. I just think it needs to be creatively composed, but there's some things out there. Like Kyle West smacks the living heck out of the ball. There's opportunities there. But you have to have someone that does that agency aspect of it that marries the two together and say, hey, this could really work for you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Here's something, though, then we can move on because there's plenty of time to have this discussion. But I think what you guys are leaving out, this is an interesting time because while I agree in principle and theory what you're saying, Tony, what is lost in college sports is because the portal, with people moving so frequently, the ability to build your brand in your local community by playing for 3 or 4 years for 120 games has lessened significantly because you're not around long enough. By the time you build your name brand up, would Javon Small, if he were returning this year, have some brand equity? Yeah. But did he have it at this time last year for West Virginia? No. But by the time the brand equity is built, Javon is gone. So, yes, there are opportunities, but what is hard and what really builds those opportunities and builds your personal brand is being visible for multiple games and multiple years and multiple months around a program. And that just doesn't exist like it once did. Guys and take just football players, guys in men's basketball and football, they're just not here anymore at the rate at which you can jump behind and have the majority of people go, yes, I know who that is. That's one of the challenges in the NIL space is people want to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness, but they're not around long enough to build that up. It is hard to build your name brand up.
That's fair.
So that's one of the challenges you're facing.
But a Kyle West, like a West Virginia kid, he's been here, right? Transferred from Charleston. He's been here. Yeah, you're right. But the one-off guys that are in and out in a year, it's not going to be there. But your guys that are, JJ last year, that you saw grow up, and various guys, I think there's opportunities. Anyway, like Brad said, the NIL piece is going to be a small percentage of the total dollars that they make because the revenue share that the university is going to give them as part of their contract to play, that is a probably 90+% of the money, maybe even higher than that, 95% of what they're going to make.
But again, unless you are
it's
in
an
a
exception to the
non-revenue
rule.
sport, which is going to get 5% of the 20 million.
I get it.
But yes, but again, there are very few of those athletes across the country. Those just don't exist in every sport with multiple people. It's just very few and far between.
I'm not saying look, it's advertising, so not everybody's created equal. I'm just saying there will be opportunities for individuals on social media to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
So I checked the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater.
What is West Virginia basketball getting in Jasper Floyd, the 6th member to join the team? Spreads on Stats going to break it down for us. Brought to us by the good folks at Conley CPA Group. They provide value beyond numbers. That's complete service, public accounting, and a consulting firm that serves clients throughout our state, surrounding states. Celebrating year number 40 in business. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Really hard to do.
Hard.
Not a lot of people hang on for 40 years or longer.
No. Not many. Not many. There's very few of us.
They can outsource your accounting and your CFO services. If you need help, Conley CPA Group, they're good people. All right, so we're going to do the Jasper Floyd breakdown.
Ready?
Yeah.
Is he the point now next year?
Point guard coming in from North Texas, played for Ross Hodge last year at UNT, helped them to those 27 wins this year. Important addition here, I think, to the squad for a bunch of reasons. But first and foremost, your point guard is so critical to your team and your success. And can the coach trust the point guard? Does the point guard know what the head coach wants? You often hear the cliche, Hoppy, the point guard's like an extension of the coach on the floor. Right. So can you get a point guard that fits your mold of what you want to do? And I think for Ross Hodge, he has found his guy in Jasper Floyd, who played for him last year. He also had 2 JUCO years under his belt, so this is kind of an interesting one. Theoretically, he has 2 years left to play at this level, given the JUCO ruling where you get those years back. What do you get in this player? First of all, you get some size. 6'3" point guard.
Like
so that's
that.
good.
Yeah.
So you get some size in the backcourt. You get a heck of a defender, and we'll get into that here in just a second. 36% free three-point shooter last year, although he doesn't take a ton of threes. 76-ish last year in when they play 34 games, so a couple per game. So this is a guy that's going to want to get downhill some penetration. Then it's a kick out potentially to some of your shooters. Honor Huff being one of those guys you can kick it out to. Last year's nation's leader in three-point field goals made. So Floyd's going to be a guy that's going to look to get to the basket and score. He was top 5 last year, top 5% nationally, guys, in assist rate, another admirable trait in your point guard. He also was top 12% nationally in steal rate. So a guy with assists and steals. And here was something interesting. Evan Miyakawa, who does a great job with some of the advanced stats, had him, and this is a fluid marketplace, but had him as the top defender available in terms of defensive value in the portal. That's moved down. I think he's number 3 right now as we sit today, but a guy that can really defend. So if you're talking about a Ross Hodge system, you get a point guard that he can trust, that can distribute the ball, that can create steals, and is a heck of a defender. Well, that's about perfect, isn't it, in terms of fit? So I think you can see what Ross is doing here. He has put together the first 6 guys that have committed to him are exactly what he wants. You got good size, you got defensive presence, you have a shooter in there, and you have a point guard that he is really comfortable with and feels like can implement his system both offensively and defensively.
Brad, among those that he's gotten so far, who do you tap as a scorer, as a primary scorer?
Yeah, Honor Huff, the guard that led the country last year from Chattanooga in three-point field goals made, that's going to be your shooter scorer right there. I think Brennan Lorient has some real upside on the offensive side. 6'9", really athletic, came along last year as a scorer at times. I think he's got some runway to go up. I think Jackson Fields has a chance to be a second or third scorer on your team. Some nights he could lead you. He has the ability, big guy, 6'8", 6'9", can step out and shoot some threes, and had a couple of games last year, too, where he made 5 threes in a game. Wow. So that's a guy you get in and work with, and I think has the ability or some runway to increase his offensive output. But listen, this team's going to be driven at the defensive end. So you're gonna make your bones off holding teams and limiting points. And you saw that last year off the West Virginia team, a team that wanted to play down in the 60s, have a couple of nights where you're making shots and then you're really hard to beat. But this team's going to be driven by defense. But I do think you have a couple of guys already in the mix that can be scorers for you at times. And Floyd will get you some points. It just won't be a ton of threes. It'll be penetration and getting to the basket.
What do you think he's still looking for?
I think you want to continue to add size. You need another center to go with Harlan Obioha so you can play two bigs in the middle. I think you're always looking for scores if they're available, and now you're looking to close out that rotation because, again, I think everybody that you've seen sign so far, there's an expectation that they're going to play some minutes, and so if you think you're going to play 8-ish guys when it really gets down to it, you're getting pretty close. So add a couple more pieces that you know are going to get some minutes for you, and then you just add some back into the roster. But you're always looking for shooting and for scoring. There's a Division II All-American that took a visit to West Virginia and is interested. That's a heck of a shooter and scorer. So I think you can add guys like that.
Do you think in today's environment, after you get past the first 8, are you adding guys that you think will be here another year?
That's a great question. Yeah, so I think you're looking for two things. You're going to still have some developmental guys. So I think, can you go out, as West Virginia was going to do the previous year with 3 high school kids it was adding? I still think that's a reasonable number to add 2 to 3 high school kids that the expectation is you'll have them for a couple of years, maybe more if you're lucky, but I don't think you look much past 2 years anymore. If you get them past that, great. But I think you add a couple developmental pieces that you can mix in and play a little bit, but also have some returning guys mixed in with portal. But I do think, guys, the fact remains some of these back end of roster guys, that 11, 12, 13 spots, are going to be guys that are going to get some practice in and that are looking for spots. And you're not gonna dedicate a ton of dollars to those guys, and there's probably not the expectation they're going to play. So you want some development. If you can get some guys to take that, yes, you take that. You just want some guys that are some bodies in there.
Yeah.
But I think that's the trend you're going to see is as the dollars shrink, you're going to put the bulk of your dollars into your top 8 guys, and the rest of them, you get what you get.
Yeah.
You know, they're also flirting with Trayson Eaglestaff, big-time scorer. And Jeff Goodman is reporting that he thinks West Virginia has the edge over Kentucky on Eaglestaff, who's a guy that had 40 last December with 8 threes against Alabama. So scorer, so you'll see what you got there as well.
Yeah.
Again, 'tis the season.
Yeah.
'Tis the season. 3 guys, you good with that? You good? Anything more?
One other thing. This is kind of nerdy, I realize.
Come
and it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Well, wait a second. That'd be a first.
That would be.
It's basketball related. It's just something I found interesting because we talked about this at times last year. I referenced Evan Miyakawa. He's got a stat that's called kill shots, where you go on a 10-0 run or more.
Right. You told us about
and
those.
you win like 81% of the time, according to his research, when you have a 10-0 run in a game. Well, there's another I was playing around with some of those numbers on another site that defined these by 8-0 runs, not 10-0 runs. Just something interesting here. West Virginia had 48 8-0 runs last season or more. Okay, 8-0 or more runs, 48 of them. Conversely, had 44 8-0 droughts that it went through. And some of these numbers, it would, again, common sense, but it's interesting when you see them in front of you. And it goes back to how you win games, Hoppy. So on those streaks that West Virginia was on last year, when it went on an 8-0 run, its 3-point percentage was 67%.
Okay.
Made shots. In the 8-0 drought, what was your 3-point percentage?
Yeah, probably 20%.
Well, 0. You didn't make any shots. It was an 8-0 run.
Oh, 8-0 run.
Yeah,
okay,
so it was 0. Okay, so you expect that. But how about this? Your turnover rate, when you were on an 8-0 run or more,
oh boy,
your offensive turnover rate was just 7%. So why do you hear coaches preach so much, do not turn it over, one? And on the defensive end, which you're going to see Ross Hodge preach, create turnovers. When you went on an 8-0 drought, your turnover percentage was 31% last year. You turned it over at a 1/3 of possession rate when you were struggling, and you turned it over at a 7% rate when it was going well. Oh, imagine that. Common sense, but some hard numbers to back that up. Here's another one. When you went on an 8-0 run, your free throw attempt rate, and last year's West Virginia team did not get to the line a whole lot, but your free throw attempt rate was 29%. Still relatively low nationally, but 29%. When you were getting beat in an 8-0 drought, your free throw attempt rate, 5%. Find easy points, right? How do you get points? 3-pointers, get to the line. I thought that was pretty interesting. So 48 runs of 8-0 or more, 44 8-0 droughts. Real quick look at North Texas last year. Different league, I get it. They had 46 8-0 runs, almost similar number to what West Virginia had, but only had 27 8-0 droughts. Again, different
How many
level.
did West Virginia have?
44.
Okay.
So again, different level of defense, I understand that, but way less droughts, almost half of what it had in terms of runs. When North Texas went on a run, similar three-point percentage, 66% from three.
Making shots.
Its free throw attempt rate, 35%, about right at its season average. But when it was in a drought, an 8% free throw attempt rate. Turnover percentages, real quick, 29% when it was on a drought, almost double what it was on the season. When it was going well for them, a 6% turnover rate. Make threes, get to the line, don't turn it over. So as you start to build keys to the game next year, remember this. That would be a key every game. And I think North Texas is going to play similarly to what West Virginia did last year and how it did. Don't turn it over. Make some threes and steal the basketball from the other team. There you go.
I'd like to know what the percentages were in the Big 12 tournament when Colorado went on the 81-0 run against West Virginia. What was the turnover rate and what was the shooting percentage there?
I could get that. It's not right in front of me.
Holy potatoes.
Yeah, so you need to avoid those big droughts, number one. But that's how you do it. Don't turn it over. Make your shots, get to the line.
Simple.
There you go. So again, not related to anything we were necessarily talking about, but as you start to look how this program is going to play moving forward, I think that's a good indication. Guard, make a few shots, get to the line.
Coaches ever mention that, Brett?
Oh, once in a while.
They may, in all seriousness, that would be good if you could put it in graphic form in a team room and go, okay, guys, let me show you something.
Yes.
Here's when we start peeing down our leg, and here's when things are going well. 3 guys before the game, brought to us by our good friends at Go-Mart. You know, we were talking about these guys being pumped up on caffeine because they crushed the Mountaineer Roasting coffee this morning. But how about this one? Rack up bonus points this month at Go-Mart. With every Red Bull that you buy this month at Go-Mart, if you buy 5 or more during the course of a month, which is not a big deal, rank in the top 25 of token earners, you get an additional 5,000 points. You can check that out. Get more information on the road to rewards. All you have to do is go to the Go-Mart app, visit gomart.com.
How many points?
5,000 reward points if you buy 5 Red Bulls during the month and you qualify that you're in the top 25 in token earners.
That's a lot of points.
Back to your point, Brad. So there were 90 instances where West Virginia either went on a 10-0 run or 8-0 run, and the other team went on an 8-0 run, right?
Combined?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, combined.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That just like basketball did.
Basketball is a game of runs.
A game of runs, and
but you want to you want to limit those that you give up, and you want to try and get on some. And it's hard when you're not a real explosive offense to get on those runs. So generally, that's why when West Virginia did, those ended up in wins a lot of times, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
But don't turn it over and find points.
Also, if you check out the Go-Mart app, play the Domino Dreams video game on the app. Just play the video game right there, just on your app. Play the video game. Get 20 cents off a gallon of gas.
Good deal. Because gas prices are up again.
Up again? Yeah, just play Domino Dreams right on the phone. So download the app, Go-Mart, and you get 20. You play it once. You can only do it once. First time you play that game, but you get 20 cents off a gallon, which is better than a stick in the eye. I was looking at the weather.
What were those points? 5,000?
For the Red
Bulls. Are you sure you
Bulls.
read that right?
Yeah. 5,000
It's not
points.
500 points. It's 5,000
You buy
points.
5 or more, and if you qualify in the top 25 of point getters, you get 5,000 rewards points. Also, I was looking at the weather for next week. I think we're making the 3/4 turn. Like we had a little frost here in Morgantown, overnight light frost. But next week I looked at it, and we're heading toward those consistently up into the over 60 and the 70. I think we made it. I think we've made it.
So if this was a horse race, you'd be coming around the bend.
3/4 pole. Looks like we've made it, as Barry Manilow used to sing. Still does. But anyway, so that means boating season is ever so close. Our good friends at Lou Wendell Marine Sales happen to be in business for over 40 years now, celebrating anniversary 40, and they're ready to go. They are ready to go. They're giving away a free Honda outboard motor. All you have to do is go to the website and sign up, LouWendellMarineSales.com. If you look inside the store, those are Avalon Tritoons. That means they got three pontoons on that bad boy, which makes it like you're gliding on silk.
Smoother ride.
They're made in America, 100% in the state of Michigan. And Lou Wendell has been selling them for decades. Avalon pontoons. And then what happens? You can take a look at those, and then you can go outside and get on those G3 John boats. That's a dandy. That is a dandy. It's a man that's a man that has a boat that can put 1 foot forward, right?
Yeah,
he just kind of chilled out, just probably bringing in smallmouth. Probably bringing in smallmouth bass. I told you a time I went on the New River on that float tour. I brought those small, unbelievable. I told you I felt like an apostle, just bringing them in. Caught over 90.
What? Excuse me?
Caught over 90 of them in one day.
Wait, you caught 90 fish?
Well,
in one
our
day.
guy, me, Johnny, we were on the boat on a float. We had a great guide who actually was from Morgantown, but he works down there, University High grad. He just said, just cast it over there. Hey. I said, excuse me? He said, just cast it over there. Ding, small. You ever fish for smallmouth?
No.
They fight like hell. They battle you.
You would too.
We caught 90, and we probably had 90 spit it out right when we were getting ready to bring them in.
Did you throw them back?
Oh, yeah.
Unlike that boar you allegedly shot. He didn't fight.
Were the fish sleeping too?
He didn't fight. Hey, we'll put that Tritoon back up there, Jake. If we could. Can we see the Tritoon back on the... There it is. Hoppy, you know what seat you want on that thing?
Where? Which ones?
Right there in front. See
Really?
that recliner right there in front?
Yeah, oh, nice.
Let somebody else drive that. You just park it right there, sit back. That's coming. That would be nice next week. You can get out there, 75 degrees. You sit out there, it's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
They have tubes down there at Lou Wendell. I might need one of those this year.
Let me just tell you.
I tried to get one last year.
Let me just tell you something.
Stop.
If it's got anything to do with the water and marine stuff, boating, they have it.
Depth finder.
Like there's nothing you. Hell yes. Some eagle claw fish hooks. Probably got those into earthworms. Probably sell earthworms in there too.
Those buoys you put on the side of the boat there, so when you're tying up with another boat, you don't bang boat on boat.
Easy.
You drop those things on the side, then it cushions you're pulling in. It got to tie you off right there. That's how that works.
Absolutely.
Big out there at Cheat Lake. You go back in one of the coves, you tie off with a bunch of people. That's big time.
Big deal?
Big time back there.
Got you. Jeez. I'm not talking about boat things because
I might call them for a little tube.
Yeah.
Might have to work on that. Okay.
Call Mike over there. He'll take care of you. How
thought
big
you
you
got-
want? How many people you want to sit on it?
Well, I don't know. We go anywhere from 4. Probably
Four?
Probably max 4.
four on
have
one
that.
tube?
4 on 1 tube. Kids are getting bigger. I don't know if we can get all 4 on there now.
Yeah, they'll have that. They got a 4-tuber.
Might have to go 2 at a time, but if we don't put all 4, then we get fights on who should go, who got to go more. Some kids like to go fast, some others don't.
Yeah, I get it.
3 guys before the game pushing businesses to you. 3 guys sponsored by the good folks at Tudor's Biscuit World, and they're accepting franchisees. If you're interested and have had that thought, I want to do this. You can get into a company that has got absolutely top-of-mind brand equity in their state of West Virginia. People just know what Tudor's biscuits are, where they are, and what they taste like. And if you'd like to have a Tudor's franchise, contact them. And they will be more than happy to chat with you. And while you're in there, maybe sniffing around, stick your head in on this deal. You buy a biscuit going on right now, and you get the second item for $1. The Dottie, the sausage biscuit, the Peppy, and the hash brown. Available at Tudor's Biscuit World. Buy one, get one for $1 at Tudor's Biscuit World. It makes you just say yum, yum, yum.
Is it time for the Spreads on Stats segment from Conley CPA?
We already did it.
I thought we did it.
We did?
Yeah.
Can we do a second one?
Yeah.
Before you do
I'm getting ready for healing. Go ahead.
We'll just do it quicker. Football portal commitment.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Offensive lineman.
Yeah.
6'5", listed 6'5", 278.
Okay.
I think it's Mikel, M-I-C-K-E-L. Might be Mikel Clay out of North Alabama. Played 792 snaps last year, graded out as a 77 offensive grade per PFF, 74 run blocking grade, 73 pass blocking grade.
What's his name again? Mikel?
Mikel, Mickel.
So that's someone that Rich had seen down there when he was at Jack State.
1,100 plus snaps played. So now you're going to see if you can move up, add some depth to that line.
How much you weigh?
278 right now. You can put some more weight on there. Get him up
Putting
close to
20,
300.
Putting on 20 on
6'5", good for him. So,
what year?
He's
Gotta be
played
old.
3.
Played 3.
He has played 3.
Okay.
So, there you go. Late breaking news.
Have you noticed that, like, if I were to say to you 2 years ago, 1 year ago, how we use in conversation, we just say, like you did it earlier. You said, like, UNT. Like we know UNT. Like, we would always call them North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, UNT's become part of the dialogue, and also Jack State. Like, we would always say Jacksonville State, UNT, Jack State, like we're down.
Because you follow the schools you have to pay interest to changes over time, right?
Yes.
How about this? Mikel Clay, 6'5", almost 280. In high school, played wide receiver.
Excuse me?
Played wide receiver and defensive end. How would you like to be a corner lining up against him?
That's the first time I've heard of that.
That's what it says in his bio here.
Again, guys, it just shows you where it's just wild where this market has gone from how many stars do they have coming out of high school? How good were they in high school? To now you're bringing in somebody from North Alabama and you go, okay, yeah, let's see what you have. West Virginia recruiting a Division II All-American in basketball. A kid received over 75 calls / texts of interest when he hit the transfer portal. A Division II guy. As we've talked many times, Hoppy, you've heard me say it for years. I think there's great coaches all over this country at all different levels, and many of them do not reside at the Power Four. Same with players, right? And you're starting to be able to find those to fill needs from all over the place. It's really interesting time.
And also, as you say, and it's true, you're allowed to get better as you grow older.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean that you're a finished product when you come out of high school, right?
I think a lot of schools are seeing this. One last note before you go to Textual Healing. Congratulations to Frank Young, who is moving on to a new job. He has joined former Mountaineer Rob Summers, who was recently named the head coach at Cleveland State, head basketball coach at Cleveland State. Frank joining that program as associate head coach. Talked with him this morning, Hoppy. Very excited about the opportunity.
Talk with him this morning?
Traded text with him.
With Frank?
Correspondent, yeah.
Wow.
Good for him.
He's very excited about the opportunity.
Good for him. So he goes from being a Mountaineer at App State to a Viking at Cleveland State. Let's get some textual healing. Textual Healing brought to us by episode800.com. That's our website. And if you go there, you can buy a bunch of different stuff. We had a little slowdown in the popcorn ordering. That has been rectified. Received correspondence earlier today from Homeless Dave, and he said basically it was kind of like the Panama Canal, like locked down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they opened up the popcorn lane again.
Now it's on.
The popcorn portal was reopened?
Yeah, we got a new baseball popcorn. What do we call it? Home Run 304?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So that is now available, plus all of our other items at episode800.com. All right, before we move ahead to further action, let's do this. We received, remember I said early in the show, Brad got these two massive heavy packages. And Jake, if you would be so kind, can you show us what was in the boxes? Item number 1. So he sent us a case. That's just one of those. Maui Gold pineapples. There was 8 of those in there. And I've already busted into one. Brad's already busted into his.
2. I've already taken that 2.
I mean, you talk about sweet and sugar. Oh, my. Maui Golds.
Look how good they look. I didn't get a great shot there of the stem. Would it be the stem coming out the top?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, perfect, Hoppy.
Then
That's
the other
on an advertising piece.
So take a look at the next thing he sent.
Yeah.
Now, this was incredible. This was the heavy box.
What is that?
I should have got in closer there.
That's about 24 bottles of craft root beers. That are some of the most well-known brand names over the years. You've got Dad's in there. You've got cherry wine. Was that what it was, Brad?
Cheerwine.
Cheerwine.
Yeah, so they're not all root beers. There's a grape
difference.
soda there on the right. There's an orange creamsicle soda on top.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Just a big box. And that was from Tommy Boy in Independence.
Well, our guy. Yep.
He's our guy. And he just sent it to us. And Brad and I shared a caramel root beer.
Brownie caramel.
Caramel
brownie root beer.
Caramel brownie. And it was tremendous. And it had finished with the caramel taste.
Nice.
Finished.
Thank you, Tommy Boy. That was awesome. That was
Tremendous.
above and beyond.
Those are great, great gifts.
We saved you a couple pineapples.
Thank you. Love pineapple.
Text
they're ready to eat right now, too.
I'm gonna.
Like sometimes you got to wait until they are like go.
Well, also you wait. Then one day you walk out and go, "Oh, I waited too long."
Yeah, kind of like avocados.
Yeah,
You got like a
like
4 minute
banana.
Yeah, you got to get in there right. 4 minute window.
Okay, today, right?
Not these things. These are ready to go.
All right, I'm going to cut it today, and I'll get a picture today.
So thank Tommy Boy.
Thank you, Tommy Boy.
Texter, Tony, where does Title IX fit in when it comes to this rev share? Judge Claudia Wilkin, who's making the final decision on the House case, said it doesn't factor into it. So this is not a 50-50 share of what the university is paying student athletes that has to go male, female. Doesn't play into it at all. Texter, Jeff and Scott Depot, good day, gentlemen. Last episode, Tony was saying that he felt sorry for football players that are cut. Isn't this what the players wanted? When they wanted to be paid and able to transfer to the highest bidder year after year, they don't feel sorry for the university or the fans when they take off. It's all about them. Like my grandpa used to always say, be careful what you ask for. Yeah, I think there is truth to that there are going to be two sides to this, and it's not going to be all player positive. There are going to be ramifications, and we saw it when these cuts were made. There's a significant number of players that were on scholarship this semester that were told that there will not be a spot for them now.
What like a half dozen freshman recruits who are on scholarship?
Yeah.
Right?
We were talking about it last night on Sportsline with Greg, and it's a significant number.
Yeah.
Tony, this is Patrick from Charleston. In fairness to Tony, if donuts were supposed to be donuts, they shouldn't have been spelled that way. By the rules of the English language, donuts instantly makes you say donettes. I know that donuts were shortened to donuts, but donuts is a guess at best. I'm happy that the hostess worker cleared it up, but the pronunciation is not obvious or apparent.
Well, in fairness, what are the rules of the English language? My gosh, there's a million different
true.
things.
I mean, that's
not a guess. It's more of an educated guess. They are in fact donuts, so I think you could have deduced they were trying to say donuts.
If you looked at, I mean,
it is a donut product. It isn't just a word by itself, in which case I would see the confusion. But you're holding the packaging of the actual donuts inside.
Right.
I think you can move. Yeah, maybe still a guess, but I don't know that it's a guess at best. A very educated guess would have got you to donuts. For some of us. Not all of us would go that direction, clearly.
Right.
I would say this to that, and I think we perhaps have spent a little bit
Seems
too much
really
time talking about this situation,
Yeah.
but I would simply say this. There's two ways to spell donuts. There's D-O-U-G-H,
Right.
N-U-T-S, and then you can go D-O-N-U-T-S. We both say that's donuts.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Right.
So when I saw D-O-N-E-T-T-E-S, I thought, okay, they want you to say it in a different way because they're smaller and more dainty. So what did I call them?
Donuts.
Donuts.
Which they're clearly not.
Or it could have been the French donnet.
Or beignet.
You notice what he did there?
Yes.
Spent too much time talking about this because it's his faux pas.
Right.
If it was your faux pas, we'd still be talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
Been about 5 shows now.
Or I would just own it.
Hey, three guys, I think the conversation about fair market value for college athletics is fascinating. I think someone is worth what people are willing to pay.
That's first reported.
A Honus Wagner baseball card is worth millions to some folks, while others would put it in their bicycle spokes. Did I just age myself? In terms of the LSU gymnast, how do you factor in her social media? She has 14 million followers. The only thing I know for sure is a bunch of lawyers are going to make a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Well, there are metrics that they will. I know, Brad. I know. But there are metrics that the entity, whoever it is, the NCAA or whatever, will use to try to determine what the fair market value.
From the text line. Hey, three guys. I am 64 years old. and I recently joined a group of seniors that play basketball.
Oh, my.
Be careful.
They play multiple times weekly and have teams that play nationally in Senior Olympics. I'm currently at 64. I'm the youngest in the group. The oldest is 90.
Wow.
They running 5 out, you think? They go post
Probably
offense.
5 out.
Run the flex.
One of the teams that play in the national tournament is the oldest team that has been playing together since high school at Stonewall Jackson High School. I'm sending this text and hoping that either on Three Guys or Sportsline you do a segment to not only recognize these older athletes, but also to let seniors out there know they can come join our group. Thanks for all you do. Holly from Elkview.
How about that?
I'm sending a picture of a few guys celebrating Fred's 90th birthday. Fred plays 2 or 3 times a week. Fred is hold the ball over his head. So if you win. So there you go. So there's one shot of those guys
That's
playing.
Fred?
No. Here's one coming up with someone's
Fred?
holding the ball. That young man is 90.
That's awesome.
That dude's 90. He don't look 90. He looks better in Kercheval.
Hey,
That's
they
awesome.
They hedge the ball screen or switch everything, or
No,
you
they
think
go
they
under.
just fight over?
They go under.
Go under. Make you shoot the 3.
They go under.
Make you shoot the 3.
Go ahead, make it. Show me you can make it.
our new basketball coach is still looking for guys. I mean,
That's awesome. Good job.
The
guys.
legendary Nemo Neerman down in Charleston played literally for just years and years. It's unbelievable. Those guys, I've heard about that group for literally 40 years.
really?
Yeah, really have.
Good for them.
Yeah, awesome. Here's someone from West Virginia photobombing at Dabo Sweeney news conference. Always a West Virginia connection. So Dabo's doing a presser, and that gentleman there had the flag going, and their West Virginia flag. Yeah. So Dabo didn't probably want to look over there. It was a long night at the Orange Bowl. Probably didn't want to look back over there on that side. Although things have gone quite well for him since.
Yeah, they've done okay since then.
Last show at the end, we were doing Rodney Dangerfield lines, and Stephen Morgantown says, Rodney Dangerfield, my wife, she's such a bad cook. The flies are sewing the rip in the screen door.
It's old humor, Brad.
Talk
It's
about
before-
something that's gone on for too many shows. All due respect.
All due respect.
Yeah, I want to tell you. Yeah, Brett Howe. Hey, Three Guys, is there any chance of getting enforceable multi-year contracts as part of the changes coming to college football and basketball? I don't want to hear the words pro model again until we get that and trades. JD, Southern Coalfields. I do think that you're going to get enforceable contracts. I don't think we're ever going to trade. Like Rich Rodriguez today announced the trade, sending.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, that would be wild.
How about
wouldn't
that?
it?
Oh, that would be unbelievable. Obviously, not happening.
I don't know. Can you imagine that?
I'll give you 2 business majors in exchange for.
We'll give you 2 guys off the golf team if you give us the backup center.
Got a center from Princeton today, as West Virginia needed to raise its academic standing. Michael in Culloden. Remember, he gave us the fudge.
Good fudge.
Oh, it's good.
I've been meaning to text you all since the gynecologist episode.
Okay.
I was driving eastbound on Interstate 64. I literally belly laughed for 9 miles. Not sure what was funnier, the joke or Brad trying to talk you out of telling the story. Needless to say, keep up the great work.
Michael, don't encourage him.
Thank
you
you
for the text, but don't encourage him. And don't just move to the next text.
Just in time for your Easter basket at your participating store. Take a look. Boom. There they are.
Those Donettes?
Donuts.
Yeah. You can go gobble them up.
You can have it in the morning with your Kofi.
I told you I went in the. That's pretty well done. You know, I told you last time the Go-Mart up at Postal Plaza here in Morgantown, just off 68, right there.
Yeah.
They have a nice display of those.
Do they?
Yeah, multiple kinds, powdered sugar, chocolate, whatever you want.
Let me tell you something about those powdered
Went in the
sugar.
other day, just asked for them like I do in that store when I go in.
You're just a.
I don't need to wander around. They're very helpful there. I just say, where are the donuts?
They just point you
Right
right
back
to
over
it.
there. Thank you. Walk right back to them.
I used to crush those powdered sugar ones.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Crush them.
They're good.
Yeah.
Crush them.
Chocolate are very good, though, too.
Doug in Sutton gets the last text in of the show. He writes, I don't know who needs to hear this, but as we head into the Easter season, a Reese's egg does have 4 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
That's good eating.
Those are right up near the front counter at Go-Mart.
The Reese eggs?
The eggs are just right there. You can't miss those things.
Go-Mart got to be going crazy right now. I mean, with the Easter stuff going on right now, right? I mean, they're selling some Reese. They're coming out of there like
Moving some eggs.
Brad, you guys, you
Shapes.
girls do an egg hunt, or they grown beyond that?
No.
No.
No
Don't
egg
do
hunt
that anymore.
No.
When my son was young, we
They
would
do
just,
love to get the Easter baskets, though.
I'm sure. We would just keep hiding them. Like, we would have the eggs, and then, like, every day, we'd just keep doing it.
Really?
Yeah, for, like, weeks, until they all got all broken up and lost. Just keep doing it.
So that's why he's like that. I knew there was something. Mentally ruined the kid.
Yeah.
Guy's walking around. I'm looking for an egg.
Do you think someone will have an Easter basket this weekend with some donuts in there?
Yes.
In fact, it might be me.
Probably get,
Might do that.
probably get a picture. Probably get a picture made. Okay, we'll be
Our
back.
Easter bunny might be bringing those. I'm gonna
That
get
might
I'm
be
gonna get
nice.
on that.
We'll be back next week
When?
sometime.
Don't know.
We're migrating toward guest season.
We're efforting right now.
Yeah, got a couple of reach outs, but some things are going on portal wise right now. Just guys are busy, but I got another couple ideas. I'll be seeing some people.
Can we get the new basketball coach?
Yeah,
We said efforting.
yeah, he's in process.
Okay, I'm just checking.
First, we're going to let him get players.
Well, that's a really good idea. We should have the new basketball coach.
Well,
Thank you for
you
that.
probably hadn't thought about that, so I wanted to suggest that.
Request was made day one. We're in the hopper.
Just trying to participate in the program.
Yeah, he's coming.
Okay.
Three Guys brought to
Thank
us
you.
by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer.
I don't have to put up with it.
By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years, and now hydrated. Visit them, comaxwv.com.
Especially during the holiday season.
Three Guys brought to us by Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card and instantly just save and put money in your pocket. Plain and simple. I mean, are you freaking kidding me?
What?
Play a video game on their app and you get 20 cents off a gallon of gas until you fill it up? That's a good...
That's a good deal.
Yeah, because you might be doing that anyway, and you're not getting the
What?
reward
What?
points.
Yeah, what more do you want? You're going to need gas. Go get 20 cents off a gallon.
Yeah.
Download the app. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Sign up for that 40th anniversary Honda motor. We're giving a Honda 40 horsepower outboard out. All you got to do is sign up on their website, LouWendellMarineSales.com. Three Guys brought to us by Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. Tudor's Biscuits.
Need someone to send us a picture. The first person to get out on their Lou Wendell boat there on one of the lakes.
Forthcoming.
Bunch of different options there.
Yeah. Three Guys also brought to us by Spreads on Stats. Conley CPA Group, they provide
Summersville,
value
Tiger.
beyond numbers. Yeah.
Lake Erie.
Rivers are walked too. You can get on there.
Won't bring up the rackety Edmund Fitzgerald. He said, fellas, it's been good to know you. We're out. Three Guys before the game. See you.